you guys? Welcome to the channel where we make StarCraft into one of the most epic ways to play, win, and get reactions from people. Like this. And this. So are you ready? Let's do it, guys. What's going on, you guys? Hope you guys are well. We've got yet another game where players tend to speak too fast and end up losing in the end. So I don't know if you guys find that funny, but to me, like, this tends to happen a lot, as I kind of mentioned on the last game. You know, people tend to probably play in teams, or they're also thinking that I'm another player that they've probably beaten before, and so, you know, when they actually end up killing one of my allies, or if I end up losing you know, a cannon rush or a harassment or something like that, they're probably gonna, you know, get really motivated and overly confident. And so there's a lot of people like that online, which is it's really funny. It's entertaining, right? And they'll speak too fast, and then, you know, they just get really shocked and surprised afterwards, and they get extremely quiet. And I love that, purely just for the sake of just, you know, being able to play online, interact with people, and just kind of get reactions. It's super funny. So guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, definitely come check out some of the content. This channel is all about doing epic troll plays against you know, average players, above average players, good players, and then there's very good players. So I'll probably start making kind of a tiering level just for the sake of having you guys be able to understand different types of players on BGH. And we do all sorts of different troll plays, and just mainly to get reactions from people. Plays where you typically wouldn't see online in your typical inners games or public games like that, because I think a lot of people, and again, the culture is really built up upon, you know, competitiveness, winning the game, and then moving on within about 10-15 minutes to the next game. And as I mentioned, like, I think we've all been doing that for so long now, like 25 years, and to me that just gets really boring. So but at the same time, we want to make sure that we do have a really good game, so a GG against, you know, hopefully above average players at the minimum, and just get a ton of reactions. So guys, I'm Inca Cola. I'm not him. I'll put a disclaimer there just as a pop-up note for you guys to, for those of you that are new. And I'm at 9 o'clock, so I'm protoss, and I'm playing with one ally at 12 o'clock. I got another ally at 11 o'clock as well too, and it's pretty much a pub game. So we're all protoss on my team. We got Zerg at 6 o'clock, TX Store. He's actually pretty, he's okay. He's a good player. I wouldn't say he's like, I wouldn't say he's above good or anything like that. He's probably just hovering around good. I played with him a lot. I think you guys probably may know him as well too. Then we got Orange. I think I've seen him before. He's okay too. He's probably on the same level as TA as well too. So they're pretty good. They're not like the best, but they're pretty good. They know what they're doing. And then we got this Terran here, which is a pub as well too. So on my team, like, oh man, as I'm describing this to you guys already, like, they're pretty much already dying, right? And it's unfortunate because it makes it more harder for me to be able to do troll plays, and so I was hoping that they'd last a little bit longer, but you guys will probably witness that they're gonna die really quick in this game, so it's unfortunate. But you know what, it makes for better content, because you guys probably enjoy seeing 1 vs 3s, 2 vs 3s, and things like that. So I didn't expect, joining this game, I didn't expect that my allies would die this quick. So yeah, so it looks like he opened up with goons, and he tried to do a goon rush, and he probably thought that, you know, he's safe at 11 o'clock and his allies at 12 will probably help him, and that I will also go zealots as well too. But no, I typically wouldn't do that, especially in a pub game. So that's probably why he thought it was safe for him to go goons. So unfortunately, even still, in a pub game, I definitely wouldn't go goons right away. I'd probably get zealots just to be safe a little bit, and then slowly transition to goons. So looks like he's gonna die. I know this player. He's pretty good. He's not bad. Typically he'll last in a long game, but sometimes, you know, you just kind of overestimate the team dynamics or your capabilities in the game. In this case, I think he overestimated the team a little bit here. So looks like he's gonna die. And then our ally at 12 o'clock, he's not that great. I think he's just probably average. And so I'm at this point when I see this happening, guys, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a 1 versus 3 pretty soon. So yeah, so I don't expect much of this game. So I gotta kind of be smart about what I'm gonna do next year. So back in my base, guys, I would typically open up with Reavers, go do a cannon rush and whatnot, but at this point in the game, I'm like, the math and the economy of scales just doesn't balance out, and so if I cannon somebody, the other two are gonna go macro and probably attack as well too, and outbeat me later. And so in this case, I just have to out macro them and use Dark Templars in terms of economies of scale, and probably do some harassments, and I'll probably get Corsairs as well, so that I can target them. So the first thing is, you guys already always know in this channel, if you have learned something about doing 1 versus 3s, or some of these troll builds that I have, you have to make sure that you target the Terran first. And so in this case, we're going to go after the Terran, even if he's not that great. We just don't want the Terran to get tanks first, right? So because if he gets tanks, he's going to penetrate your wall. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, let's get Terran first. And then I look back at 12, and as I predicted, he's out of the game. So I think within about like 5.5 minutes, my allies are pretty much dead. So you can pretty much almost call this a 1 versus 3, almost, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, let's have some fun. Let's see if I can kill at least 2 of them. So I wasn't expecting to win this game, because I'm like, like they died pretty quick. Like if they died like around like 9 minutes, then I'd have a better shot. But let's at least kill 2 of them. That'll be fun either way. And so okay, so I'm gonna go and see if I can drop. But then I saw that Terran wasn't that great, and I know that orange is a little bit better, so I'm gonna go after him first. So I cut to the corner over at 5 o'clock, and I'm gonna do a drop on orange and see if he has anything here. And to my surprise, he didn't have any cannons. The Zerg did spot that I had a Templar archive earlier, and so he screamed that there's Dark Templars to orange, and orange made cannons, but it was a bit too late. And so he's really behind now at this point, because he had to pull his probes away. And I killed 2 cannons. I killed, I think, about like 7 or 8 probes so far, and he's pulling his probes away, so he's super behind now. And let's do the count here, guys. I think that's like 13, 14 probes now. 14. Yeah, so he's definitely behind, and they're trying to do a push over at my base here as well too. And I got 2 cannons, but they can't really do much right now, because they can't penetrate that wall. And plus, I've also got Dark Templars, so I saw that they got an Overlord there. So I ran back, and I'm gonna go target that Overlord, because there's gonna be a Dark Templar that's gonna pop out of my gateway soon here. And that Dark Templar, I always make it before I leave my base, just so that it's gonna help with any tanks or any kind of units that are gonna go and attack it. So I killed the Overlord, and now the Dark Templar's popping out. And then orange is funny, because orange is like, don't waste time. He's like, just leave the game. I think he said it twice already. So he's like, just leave the game, don't waste time. And he doesn't realize what's gonna happen, which is so funny. People just like, they just kind of like they can't read the game. They don't know who they're playing against. And so he's telling me like, don't waste time, like you've lost the game, just leave. So they broke my wall, and they ran inside, and so I had Dark Templar, so they can't really do much at this point. I tried to drop some Dark Templars, and I think I took out like 1 or 2 drones here, and I took out the extractor as well too over at 6. And again, this is all purely just harassments and pressuring, and so that it kind of confused them a little bit. It kind of frustrates them, and makes them probably not think correctly in terms of how they would play. And so any kind of harassments you do, it kind of makes the player a little bit scared. And so that's what I was trying to do here for both orange and Zerg at all of at 6. And what I want to do is, because I know that they're probably the better players, I know that Terran's not that great, and so I targeted him last. So I I dropped the Dark Templar on Terran last, and at this point, he should have turrets, mines, and stuff like that, and even scanner, but he doesn't. And so kind of as we all expected, he's not that great. So I targeted him last, and so he doesn't have much here. So now he's making turrets, and it's kind of too late. And so orange and olive are pretty much also behind at this point. And so now they're pretty much behind. Like this is now almost like a 1.5 versus 3 in terms of kind of evening out the the unit count on the map and the economy of scales here. So yeah, so I think I should be pretty good. And back at home, guys, I'm already transitioning into carriers, and so they're definitely not expecting that. They're expecting that I'm going to go units and then try to take them out one by one. And you can't do that in terms of 1 versus 3 because again, the economy of scales just doesn't add up because there's 3 of them and there's only 1 of you, so you have to go into an advanced counterattack, which are carriers, and that's going to even out the odds for you. So now that they're recovering, they're a bit dazzled. They don't know what's going to happen next, or they're assuming what's going to happen next. So they're like they're like, why are you still here? Orange is still asking me. He's like, why are you still here? Just leave the game. It's over, dude. Wow, do you really think you can win? Man, he's in for a surprise. That's gonna be pretty funny. I did send a probe down to 7 o'clock, and I'm just gonna hide it there, and I'm gonna get an expansion. And I apologize, guys. This game I think was at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and so I was pretty tired. So I was pretty I wouldn't say rusty, but probably not awake, not optimal as much as I would be, or as I should be. So yeah, you'll see me being a little bit sloppy here, but I'm trying to do more harassments, just using purely DTs. I ran across 12. I saw that Terran has an expansion, so I'm going to drop some DTs in there, and I'm just going to do some more harassment. So at this point, Orange is kind of quiet. He doesn't have anything else to say because he's kind of like, okay, like what's going on next? Like, do we still have a shot here? So he did get observers, so now he's like, okay, I'm gonna get this guy because I have observers now, and what else can he do, right? He's only making Dark Templars, so what else can he do? So he's a bit more confident now. I ran my Dark Templars to 12, and he actually made mine, which really shocked me. It really surprised me. So those 3 Dark Templars got killed. So I'm gonna go back because I need to make some more harassments. I want to put Terran a little bit behind. Zerg is also really behind because I don't see him doing much, and he's a bit scared now, so that's why he's kind of just sitting in his base. He made Mutilus, which I was pretty certain he was going to make. So he's probably, he doesn't see that there's carriers yet. So once he sees that, as soon as Orange comes in, he's going to see that there's carriers. So now they're like, what the fuck? Like, carriers? Where did this come from? Because they're definitely not expecting that, right? And I do have Corsairs from earlier as well too, and I'm gonna probably make a disruption web, and I'm gonna use those Corsairs to defend against Scourges, because now that Zerg sees that I have carriers, he's definitely gonna make Scourges. So there's Dark Templars still harassing 12 o'clock, and now they're also really scared and worked up because they're like, okay, we have to kill him because he's got carriers. So I'm just waiting for a few more carriers now and some more Corsairs, because I don't have enough to defend against Scourges. So I typically want to have at least, at a minimum, 9 Corsairs before I go out. And let's see if I have +1 yet. Did I get plus? Okay, so I didn't upgrade +1 early. So that +1 on weapons, guys, will really help you if you upgrade early for your Corsairs, because it really helps to kill Mutilus, Overlords, and especially Scourges as well too, because Zerg definitely, good Zerg players will get +1 on armor, and that helps them tremendously. So you got to make sure you get at least +1 on weapons. So here's Orange asking me, you think you can win? Oh man, he's in for a surprise, guys. This is gonna be really funny. And guys, like, these guys are like above average, so I would say Olive and Orange at the bottom here, like they're just hovering just below good players. Like, they're not very good or anything like that. So if you actually play them in like a pub game, you'll see that it's not gonna look like this. And the reason why it looks so easy like this is because of the way I set up the game, because I will, first of all, they want to attack my allies, and they're building a traditional build, which is probably looking at making lings, making goons, and then pushing and then ending the game. And now, because I use Dark Templars, they're kind of dazzled a little bit, and they're confused. And I did harassments as well too, so they have to kind of switch up their build. And now, because Olive has to switch up his build, he's also a little bit scared. And you have to keep in mind, he can't expand because he can't expand because I have Dark Templars and he's scared of Dark Templars, so that's why he's not expanding. That's why he looks a little bit noob right now. And same thing with Orange as well too. They're a bit scared because there's Dark Templars on the map. And the funny thing is I don't really have any Dark Templars on the map. If you look at it, I don't have any, but because of the way I use them, it makes them scared. And it's really funny to look because it's actually a 1 versus 3 right now. So like this shouldn't be happening. Like what you see on the map shouldn't be happening, especially with Orange and Olive. They're not noob. Like they're not super good, but they're not noob. So this shouldn't be happening on the map. But if you actually know how to pressure, how to scare allies or players, this sort of stuff will happen. And so I ran in and I'm attacking Zerg and Protoss first because obviously they're a bigger threat than Terran. Terran's not that great. Orange is trying to counter me, so I made a wall. I also did leave a Dark Templar outside my base as well too for tanks in case. And so now Orange is trying to make a push here, but I've got a wall and he's only got Zealots, so there's not much you can do here, guys. So I saw that they're attacking, so I made sure I just took out the Nexus and the Spire at 6 o'clock first, and then as soon as I see that I took that out and I saw that they're attacking me, I have to run back. So if you're doing like a 1 versus 3 or a 2 versus 3 and this happens, you have to run back. So I panicked a little bit there because I just don't want them to kill my cannon, so I just I just disruption webbed everything. So it looks kind of funny right now, and I apologize, a bit sloppy there because it is like 3 a.m. when I was playing this game. So I ran back and I just want to make sure I take out any tanks if there were, so good thing that there wasn't any tanks. So yeah, so I took those out and gonna go back and just clean up Orange a little bit because I don't want him to get Storm, I don't want him to get Arbiters, and Orange is now a bit, he's probably a little bit concerned because he's like, okay, I told this guy to leave 2 times. I told him, I said, do you really think you can win? I see as well too. So now he's kind of like, I don't know what else to tell this guy, right? And so he's a bit quiet now because he doesn't have anything else to say. So I see that he's got a ton of High Templars. So what I did there was I split my carriers up, and I only sent in 3 carriers to kill that group of High Templars, because you don't really need to group and use all of your High Templars to kill them, right? You only need like 2 or 3 carriers to kill them, and when they do that, the Protoss tends to they panic because they're like, shit, like it's not a good return on investment if I'm only storming like 2 or 3 carriers. So pretty much it's a free kill for you guys to kill them. So if you end up using carriers, that's what you do, guys. Just make sure you split up your carriers and bring the majority of them somewhere else and just leave 2 or 3 behind, and then you can target the High Templars. So Zerg is expanding over at 11 and 12 as well too. I didn't expect that that he's got that much, but he feels definitely more safe to expand there, so that's why he expanded there. So I'm just gonna go in to 6, clean that up, and I'm looking at his base. He doesn't have anything because I think he kind of gave up on 6 because he knows that that's going to be taken out. And I think at this point Orange and Zerg are kind of blaming Terran. They're blaming Terran for not being able to do much, and it is true. Like, don't get me wrong, it is true that Terran is not that great this game, but the truth of the fact is that it's still a 1 versus 3, so this shouldn't be happening at all. Like, even if it's a 2 versus 1, they should be able to handle me much better than this. But because of the way I set it up, so it's it made it a lot more difficult for them. So so when you see Terran trying to siege you, and it's kind of mid game at this point, all you got to do is just run your Corsairs back first, because Corsairs can travel much quicker, and just disruption web the tanks that are attacking your cannon and your wall, and then that'll buy time for your carriers to come back and then take out the tank. So that's what I did there. And he's got Goliaths as well too, so we'll take those out. And so yeah, at this point, I know, like, you know, I pretty much have the game. I just gotta make sure I keep running back and forth to clean it up. I saw that Orange has probes that are just idle everywhere on the map, and so that's how I know, like, okay, like it's pretty much game over. So pretty much when you kill Protoss first, guys, that's when you know, like, okay, like you're pretty much safe, unless like they are still really good players and they have a majority of the map and tons of units on the map, then you're a bit more concerned. But at this point, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty certain that the game's over at this point. So I'm just gonna go into 12, and I see that he's got drones going over to 11 o'clock as well, so that's how I know that there's more units on the map. So I'm gonna go and make sure I clean that up. I don't know what happened to my Corsairs. I thought I had Corsairs. Did they all die? Okay, they must have all died there. So that's unfortunate. I lost 2 carriers there. So I saw that, so I'm gonna make some more Corsairs now because Zerg's just gonna keep making Scourges, and so I saw that he's storming me as well too. So I'm dealing with trying to make sure I clean up. I'm dealing with Scourges. I'm dealing with High Templar. So there's a lot going on. So apologize for the sloppiness, guys. So I saw that, so I'm just gonna take out those High Templars. Down at 7, I've got an expansion. It's super idle. Apologize again. It's super sloppy, this game. But at this point, I just want to end the game. It's pretty late at nighttime, so I just want to end the game and just leave some comments and remarks for Orange here, because I think what's funny about this game was that they were certain that they were gonna win, and Orange has probably never played a player like me before, and so he's probably used to telling people to just leave the game when it's 1 versus 3. So because he's very confident. I think that's what's funny about this game. So I hope you guys enjoy that and just see what it's like with people's reactions, what they end up thinking, and whatnot. So I think sometimes like StarCraft, it doesn't just have to be about like what you're building, but it's also like the social aspect of it, like what people are saying as well. I enjoy that. I don't know if you guys do, but I certainly hope you guys will enjoy that. Just kind of getting that social aspect and seeing what people say, and whatnot. Because I think you know, there are players that you know, when you're playing like a 1 versus 1 or a match in like, even in like UFC, for example, right? Like when there's beef and there's build up and momentum before leading up to the match, it's always fun to watch those games. And so, you know, when you play this game, StarCraft, for like 25 years, you know, you kind of need a build up of something before, you know, going into the game. That just makes the game that much more interesting. Maybe it's just me, guys, because I've done pretty much everything in this game now, so that there's not much left for me. So so that's why I enjoy that social aspect as well too. So going back to 3, I'm just gonna de-web everything at the front here and then just take that out. Like Terran is, you know, he kind of doesn't know how to control his units, and so, you know, I'm not really concerned with him much at all. But, you know, I think he did actually use EMP on me, which I was actually shocked. I was like, wow, okay, like he used EMP. So so Orange is like running around. I think he's just trying to scout the map because he's still upset at me. Like he's still upset that like I'm in the game and I didn't leave, and that I'm winning. So he's trying to like do something. He's trying to be useful here, because at this point, like if I was in the game and I was Orange, I would have left. Like I would just leave the game. But I think because he's pretty upset and he wants to witness me like doing something or dying, that's why he's still in the game, guys. So yeah, so Zerg is like still running around. Like I guess he's still hoping. He's still hopeful that there's a chance that he can win here, but I would definitely leave. And so yeah, both Zerg and Orange are screaming at their Terran ally to like do something, but guys, like what can you really do at this point? Like there's not much you can do. Now they're blaming their ally and calling their allies their Terran ally idiots. I mean, can you really blame this guy? Like you know, it's like you guys were the better players. You guys should have done something here, right? So I find it funny that people blame their allies when they're the good ones that could have done something. And plus, it was a 1 versus 3 at this point, right? Because keep in mind, guys, like both my allies died at like 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So yeah, so guys, I think the game's almost coming to an end. So I hope you guys got to enjoy this and kind of witness what it's like when players kind of speak too fast, and you know, in a situation when, you know, your allies die. I would recommend like don't give up. Hopefully you guys kind of pick up some of the plays that I'm doing here, in terms of, you know, plays where you even out the math, the unit math on the map, kind of help you with economy of scales and whatnot. Because if you go and just build, you know, your standard build, Goon Zealots, Templars, and things like that, you're probably gonna leave. I probably would have had a much harder time. I could have won perhaps, but I definitely would have had a much harder time. And so there's much more risk when you're doing that. So rather than doing that, you know, guys, like use Dark Templars, use Corsairs, make drops, and then, you know, tap on with advanced counterattacks with like carriers, and you'll win the game much easier. And you know what, like people call you cheese, but it's 1 versus 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really cheese anymore when you're doing a 1 versus 3, right? And so yeah, like guys, I hope you pick up some of these plays and use it, because it's super funny, super epic, just to get people's reactions and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully you guys get to use it. And if you guys have any questions about any of these plays, these builds, or just just your thoughts on it, like, feel free to drop a comment, guys. It's super funny for me. It's super entertaining to witness people losing to 1 versus 3s, and especially when they said that they were gonna win. So and whatnot here, guys. So I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder what Orange is thinking now. He's probably thinking like, okay, I probably will never say just leave again to another player, because witnessing that can be a little bit embarrassing. So I'm sure Orange probably learned something today. Zerg actually didn't say anything, so yeah, so he's I respect him for not saying anything, and just carrying on with the game, and letting the player that's by themselves just still play the game. I guess if you're gonna tell somebody to leave the game, you have to be very confident. So you have to have your facts straight, and knowing like, okay, can we actually really win the game? Or am I just being overly confident and assuming that the player is really noob? So at this point, guys, like, I'm not making anything else. I'm just making carriers. I'm just actually, I did make gateways in case if I do want to do like a quick switch. So sometimes, guys, like, this is a funny one, but sometimes when you're making carriers long in the game, players will actually, and I see this all the time when I'm doing carriers late in the game, a lot of people will actually make, like, devours. They'll make Wraith, they'll make Corsairs and stuff like, or they'll just make like mass arbiters, and they kind of forget about ground units. And so what I'll do instead is I'll actually counter them. So I'll go from, I'll force them to all just make air units, and then I'll quickly switch to ground units right away, and I'll have like a ton of gateways, and that just kind of overthrows them. It just like counters them so fast, because they can't react to it, because they have so many air units that they have to actually get rid of before they can free up their side count. So I would say post mid game, just make sure you have those carriers readily available, because you can actually do some pretty funny counter switches with units right away. So yeah, I mean, I wonder what Terran's thinking as well too, because he's having both of his allies scream at him quite a bit here. So I wonder what he's thinking. Like, he's probably like, guys, like, you guys should have done more in this game. You know what I mean? Like, I made Reavers as well too. I'm just gonna leave the Reaver there in case if Zerg has any more units as well too, in case if Zerg makes Swarm or anything like that. But I saw that he doesn't have much, so, but that's just for backup, guys. Reavers behind a wall is really, really effective. So before I attack Terran, I made sure I looked back to see if there's any other units, but it looks like it's just Terran by himself. So both Orange and Olive are pretty much done. So I don't know why Orange and Olive is still in the game. Like, it's just kind of funny, because if it was anybody, if it was you guys watching this game, you probably would have left a long time ago. But clearly they're both pretty confused and worked up and upset. So that's probably why they're still in the game, guys. So yeah, guys, that's it. This is I think this is coming to an end here, guys. So hopefully you guys got to enjoy this, and again, drop a comment, tell me what you guys think as well too for this game. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Definitely supports me, helps me a ton, so that I can continue to do these funny epic troll plays for you guys, depending on which category you guys like most. But yeah, it definitely does support me. And for those of you guys that have, thanks for your support, love your comments and whatnot, and some of your ideas that you guys drop. So feel free to continue to do that, guys. I really appreciate it. And again, guys, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.